Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and delay about 5 minutes. The gates getting on post are pretty backed up with traffic. We want to get as many people here as we can today. So we'll delay about 5 more minutes. Color guard, go ahead and go to rest.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commanding General, Brigadier General Jason Kelly, and the Post Command Sergeant Major Eric Oakes, welcome to the United States Army Training Center in Fort Jackson for the retirement and graduation of soldiers from Companies Alpha, Bravo Charlie, Delta, and Echo from the 1st Battalion, 34th Infantry Regiment, 165th Infantry Brigade. Please stand for the invocation given by Chaplain Kia Humphrey.
Good morning. I invite you to join me in prayer. Blessed be the Lord my God, who trains my hands for war, my fingers for battle. Lord, we are grateful for this beautiful day and for this great celebration. We ask your blessing upon this ceremony. We ask for your protection on our soldiers as they travel to AIT today. We ask that you would cover them and cover their families as they go back to their several homes. We ask for replenished strength for our drill sergeants and cadre who've poured out tirelessly over the last 10.5 weeks. Prepare them for the next mission that you have. We thank you for all things, for your goodness and your mercy. And it's in your precious name that I ask these things. Amen.
Please be seated. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize the commitment of the men and women you see here who have chosen to serve their country as soldiers. This review is the last official formation for our newest soldiers. Not everyone successfully completes this difficult period of training. Far fewer are able to accept the challenges and difficulties that come with the life of a career soldier, but those in formation today represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit soldiers who exemplify the Army's 7 core values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. They are imbued with the warrior ethos and display the tenets of putting the mission first, never accepting defeat, never quitting, and never leaving behind a fallen comrade. This is an important day, and these soldiers can take great pride in their accomplishments. To the parents, families, and friends of these soldiers, Fort Jackson extends a very warm and sincere welcome. We are justifiably proud of our soldiers that join the next generation standing on this field have chosen to join our ranks. Please direct your attention to the left of the formation. The units marching today from your left to right are the 282nd Army Band under the command of Chief Warrant Officer 3 Kevin Pick. Graduating soldiers from Companies Alpha and Bravo, the Battalion Color Guard, and graduating soldiers from Company Charlie, Delta, and Echo. Identified by their distinctive headgear are the drill sergeants. These dedicated non-commissioned officers form the backbone of the Army's training center system, selected based on professional competence, leadership ability, and years of service. These men and women undergo intensive training to earn the right to wear their distinctive hat and insignia. With the drill sergeant hat goes the important responsibility of molding civilian men and women into soldiers. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Major Matthew Owen, who serves as the executive officer for the 1st Battalion, 34th Infantry Regiment. He and the battalion staff are positioned on the field. The reviewing officer for today's graduation is the commander of the 1st Battalion, 34th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Brennan Goltry. On his left is Command Sergeant Major Angelo Fazio, the battalion's senior non-commissioned officer, master trainer, and principal advisor to the commander. The commander of troops will now bring forward the colors and persons to be honored. Competence and commitment are the hallmarks of professionalism. The soldiers and drill sergeants coming forward will be recognized for their excellence in training and duty performance and serve as examples to all. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem. It is appropriate for soldiers in uniform and all armed forces veterans to salute the American flag. We ask our civilian guests to please remove your headgear and place your right hand over your heart as our national anthem is played. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Those most responsible for the training of these soldiers are the drill sergeants who are carefully selected by the Department of the Army. The drill sergeant campaign hat and badge have been a stoic symbol of professionalism and pride since 1962. At this time, the drill sergeant of the cycle for 1st Battalion, 34th Infantry Regiment, Drill Sergeant Jonathan Paulino, will recite the Drill Sergeant Creed. We ask that all drill sergeants, past and present, please stand for the reciting of the Drill Sergeant Creed. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Brennan Goltry and Command Sergeant Major Angelo Fazio will now present the awards. The outstanding drill sergeant of the cycle for 1st Battalion, 34th Infantry Regiment is Drill Sergeant Jonathan Paulino. The soldier leader of the cycle for Alpha Company is Private Batencourt from Sioux City, Iowa. The soldier of the cycle for Alpha Company is Private First Class Craig from Grambling, Louisiana. The soldier leader of the cycle for Bravo Company is Specialist Douglas from Springfield, Virginia. The soldier of the cycle for Bravo Company is Private First Class Ergish Baiva from Plainfield, Illinois. The soldier leader of the cycle for Charlie Company is Private Armstrong from Bend, Oregon. The soldier of the cycle for Charlie Company is Private First Class Lee from Burbank, Washington. The soldier leader of the cycle for Delta Company is Private Ford Hand from Pace, Florida. The soldier of the cycle for Delta Company is Private First Class Johnson from Kingston, Jamaica. The soldier leader of the cycle for Echo Company is Private Solorio from Fuller, California. The soldier of the cycle for Echo Company is Private First Class Chamberlain from Christian, Mississippi. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 1st Battalion, 34th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Brennan Goltry.
Good afternoon, Lette Dragons, and welcome to beautiful Fort Jackson, South Carolina, where we make American soldiers. It is an honor and a blessing to have so many family and friends here to support our graduating soldiers today. Today we get to celebrate these newly minted soldiers standing before us, and we remember 22 years ago this week, the victims of the September 11th terrorist attacks. We remember the service members who made the ultimate sacrifice in Afghanistan and Iraq. For the past 248 years, men and women like these before us have been willing to serve and sacrifice in order to win our nation's wars and ensure our way of life. Brigadier General Kelly, Command Sergeant Major Oakes, Sergeant Major Lombardo, Chief Master Sergeant Anderson, Master Sergeant Elliott, Colonel and Mrs. Solheim, Command Sergeant Major Blyler, fellow leaders, and most importantly, the family and friends of the graduating soldiers of the 1st Battalion, 34th Infantry Regiment, the Lette Dragons. Thank you for participating in today's graduation ceremony here on Hilton Field, and virtually at home and across the globe. I would like to take a moment and extend my gratitude to 3 very important groups, both here and online. To our veterans, our retirees, and our Gold Star family members, your sacrifices both in and out of uniform validate the importance of basic combat training. Your service and continued support to this great nation and Army cannot and will not be overlooked. Please, if you're able and choose to, stand and be recognized. Thank you. I would also like to recognize the 282nd Army Band. Your professionalism lends class and dignity to today's ceremony. Thank you. Now let's talk about why you're really here. To celebrate the accomplishments of this 1,058 newly minted American soldiers standing in this formation. They are all volunteer. They hail from almost all 50 states and territories. We have 22 countries represented in this formation, from 6 of the 7 continents. We still haven't had any representation from Antarctica. One day, maybe. These soldiers are the best the United States has to offer. On the field is a varied group. The oldest is Private Damondo, at 42 years of age in our Delta Company, and the youngest is Private Pinon at 17 years old in our Alpha Company. We have parents in the formation. So in this formation, we have parents, 46 collective kiddos in the crowd today. In Punisher Company, Private Telemark speaks 4 different languages, and Special in Hollingsworth worked at the Pentagon for 7 years for the Department of Homeland Security before he joined the Army. He was also a 2-time Golden Gloves winner. In the Mandalorian Company, Private Urgis Baiva speaks 6 languages, and Private Chase Livingston won a gold medal in the 2012 U.S. National Taekwondo Championships. In Chaos Company, Private Lemon plays the guitar with his nose, and Private Gumerez was a Baja race car driver, hopefully not anymore. In Demon Company, Private O'Brien is a state champion for weightlifting, and Private Starman played the French horn for the president at a concert. Lastly but not least, in the Eagles Company, Private Chamberlain was a firefighter and managed to save 6 people from a burning building. And Private Mohoy played 7 different instruments. Why did they volunteer? Was it a sense of duty, a family occupation, or money for college? Was it to provide for their families, to test oneself, or to escape from a dark place? Whatever the reason, they are now one thing in common. They are all U.S. Army soldiers. Since their arrival at Fort Jackson 10 weeks ago, I can report that your soldiers have learned to become proficient in the basic art and science of combat. They've learned how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. They learn the value of teamwork and trust in themselves, their team, and their cadre. They face both mental and physical challenges. At times, they may have doubted their abilities, but quickly learned just how capable each and every one of them were. They did this not by themselves, but under the watchful eyes of their drill sergeants and their cadre. They did it as a team. Please join me in a round of applause for the soldiers, the cadre, and the drill sergeants. Basic training is a continuous assessment. We look for the drive and determination in every soldier. You may have heard the words like the hammer, the anvil, and the forge. These are single and multi-day field exercises, and they were designed to test not only how well each soldier learned what was taught, but also see that their grit and ability to persevere and thrive in an increasingly rigorous set of conditions. In the forge alone, these soldiers in front of you covered over 35 miles on foot, ending with a 10-file foot march carrying 30 to 40 pounds of equipment. All successfully completed a series of arduous tasks, proving their technical and tactical competencies to join the ranks of our profession of arms. Nothing was given to them. They had to earn it, and they did earn it. So now what? Some will go on to be helicopter mechanics, others intelligence analysts. Some will be religious affairs specialists, others communicators. Some will handle finance and play in the Army band or become logisticians. Maybe just some of them will become our nation's special operations forces. It doesn't matter what their MOS or military occupational specialty is. They are now part of the greatest volunteer army the world has ever known. So, to the soldiers on the field, we are proud of you. We are honored to be your first unit. You are our future, and without you, we have no army. Without you, we are incapable of promoting peace through a strong national defense. However, with you, our future is bright. Ladies and gentlemen, those who stand before you represent what is best about America. Thank you for celebrating today with us, and may God bless the United States of America. Always forward. Always forward, strike strong, and just like we practiced yesterday, victory. One more time, victory.
Today's soldier is above all a warrior, adaptive, confident, and competent. As a soldier, you're totally committed to the war ethos, grounded in Army values, and determined to destroy enemies of the United States of America and her allies. The United States Army's Soldier Creed embodies this commitment. To the soldiers on the field, the uniform you wear at this moment is more than an outward display of your vocational choice. Your uniform is a symbol of a nation and an unspoken assurance to all who see you that you are a willing and able protector of the freedoms fought so arduously for by all who have gone before and those who will bravely come after. You have become what you set out to be, a soldier in the United States Army. The Soldier's Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and will continue to guarantee. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Private Batencourt leads the soldier standing before you through the reciting of the Soldier's Creed. Consideration of those around you, we ask that you please remain seated and in the bleachers until all soldiers have passed the reviewing stand and the conclusion of the ceremony is announced. As you are approached by the American flag, it is appropriate to rise and remain standing until it is passed to your right. Once the ceremony is concluded, family members of awardees may meet their soldier under the canopy located to the left of the bleachers. All other family members and friends, please meet your soldier on the field once instructed by the narrator by respective companies. The 34th Infantry Regiment was assembled on July 15th, 1916 in the regular Army in El Paso, Texas. Its initial mission included guard duty on the Mexican border and the training of National Guard units. The 34th Infantry Regiment arrived in France on August 27th, 1918. In October 1918, the regiment received Battle Honors Lorraine for actions for their support of the 7th Infantry Division. After World War I, the 34th Infantry Regiment became the first motorized infantry regiment in the United States Army. The regiment moved to Fort Jackson, South Carolina on 10 July 1940. En route to the Philippines on 7 December 1941, the regiment was diverted to establish the Hawaiian Island defenses. In June 1943, the regiment participated in the Hollandia Adrian seizure, as well as the attack on Biak Island. The 34th Infantry was chosen to spearhead the liberation of the Philippines. During the Battle of Leyte, the unit participated in a series of bloody battles for 75 continuous days. Most notable was their use of hand-to-hand combat at Quilay Ridge, while behind enemy lines for 3 weeks. The regiment's nickname, Leyte Dragons, and the motto of the infantry, "Follow Me," denotes their valor displayed during this time period. In January 1945, the 34th Infantry Regiment made its second beachhead assault in the Philippines on the island of Luzon. Fox Company suffered more than 90 casualties in one day. Days of bitter fighting with legendary acts of individual heroism were required to accomplish this mission. The 34th Infantry Regiment was later chosen to assault the island of Corregidor and seize Malinta Hill. They destroyed the enemy and held the hill despite the significant cost of lives during the battle. The 34th Infantry Regiment led the Mindanao campaign, and then was reassigned to Japan at the conclusion of the World War II. From 7 to 8 July 1950, the 34th Infantry Regiment encountered a double envelopment while fighting at Chonin. Once again, their use of hand-to-hand combat helped the unit emerge as the victor. Passing the reviewing stand is the commander of troops, Major Matthew Owen, and the battalion staff. Second Army Band is commanded by Chief Warrant Officer 3 Kevin Peck, and the drum major is Staff Sergeant Jacob Davis. Company is commanded by Captain Philip Hartman.